Welcome back to Bennett Park at the corner of Michigan Avenue and Trumbull in beautiful Detroit, Michigan. You're listening to the opening game of the 1908 World Series on Gameday Radio. Be at the game with Gameday Radio. We move to the top of the ninth. Our score now, Tigers 6 and the Cubs 5. The ninth inning brought to you by William C. Durant's brand new General Motors Company up in Flint, Michigan. The Tigers just scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. The last time Detroit held the lead was back in the second inning. Claude Rossman, the Tiger first baseman, singled to center off Cubs reliever Mordecai Brown, driving in Sam Crawford for the tying run. On the same play, Johnny Evers mishandled the throw back in from the center fielder Solly Hoffman, and that allowed the speedy young Tiger phenom Ty Cobb to score all the way from first. Cobb scores the go-ahead run with the error credited to Evers. Cobb looks like he could have a pretty bright future with the Tigers. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Ed Summers retakes the hill. He's given up 1 run in 5 2/3 innings of work, taking over for the starter Killian, who lasted only 2 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs. And stepping to the plate is second baseman Johnny Evers. Evers 2 for 3 today, scoring 1 run and striking out once. Summers gets the sign from Schmidt. He's ready to pitch. Here it comes. And Evers watches it go by for ball 1. Evers batting .300 with a slugging percentage of .375. Johnny struck out swinging in the first, singled in the third, had a sac bunt in the fourth, and singled and scored in the 7th. Summers ready to work, and the next pitch. Evers swings and misses, strike 1, and the count moves to 1-1. Summers, in his debut appearance, not laboring at all this afternoon, looking very comfortable on the mound. None on, nobody out, and the Tigers lead the defending champs 6-5. Summers starts his windup and throws the next one. And Evers fouls that one off for strike 2. 1-2 now on Evers. With no outs and nobody on here in the top of the ninth, Ed Summers steps to the rubber, looks to his battery mate for the sign, and settles in for the delivery. Here's the windup and the 1-2 pitch. Evers swings and knocks a sharp ground ball down towards first base. First baseman Rossman scoops it up and steps on the bag for the out. 1 out here in the top of the ninth. The Cubs trail the Tigers 6-5. Next up is center fielder Frank Schulte. Frank batting .236. Frank singled, drove in a run, and scored today, all in the 3rd inning. Summers looks to Boss Schmidt for the sign, winds up, and delivers a fastball that catches the outside edge for a called strike. 0-1. Frank didn't want anything to do with that pitch. Summers has been coming after these batters with high heat this afternoon, almost all fastballs. And the next pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. Schulte quickly in the hole, 0-2. A good pitcher will be aware of his situation and know when he wants the hitter to put the ball in play and when to go hard for that strikeout. Ed walks to the rubber, kicks the dirt from it, and checks his fielders. Here's the windup. And the 0-2 pitch is a high fastball for ball 1. That was a pitch you'll see a lot of guys chase. Good plate discipline, early recognition. Frank didn't even flinch. Summers climbs up, toes the rubber. Pitch coming in. Schulte swings hard and fouls that one off to the right side. The count remains 1-2. Summers gets a new ball, proceeds to rub the shine off it as he retakes the hill. He looks in to Boss Schmidt for the sign and settles in for the delivery. Here's the pitch. And it comes in low for ball 2. Big pitch coming up. Summers would really like to get this strikeout with the count 2-2. A strikeout would bring the Cubs down to their last out. If Schulte reaches, he becomes the tying run. Summers winds up and delivers the 2-2 pitch. Schulte hammers one to the left side. It gets past the shortstop O'Leary and into shallow left center. And Frank is aboard with a nice little single. And now here comes first baseman and manager Frank Chance with a man on and 1 out. Frank batting .272 in his 11th year with the Cubs as a player and in his 3rd full year as manager after taking over midway through the 1905 season. Summers looks back in at Schmidt for the sign, gets it, nods, and winds up. Here's the pitch. And that one comes in low for ball 1. Chance is 0 for 3 today. He walked in the first, then reached on a fielder's choice and later scored in the third, popped out in the fifth, and reached on an error in the seventh. Summers starts his windup and throws the next one. Chance hammers a line drive base hit into center field for an easy single. Schulte advances to second and will stop there as Crawford gets the ball back in. And now the Cubs really have something cooking with 1 out and 2 men on, the tying run in scoring position, and the go-ahead run at first. Ed Summers is ready to pitch. Here it comes. And it comes in low for ball 1. Steinfeld batting .241 in his third year with Chicago. World Series Game 1 is brought to you by the William Wrigley Jr. Company and Wrigley's patented spearmint chewing gum. Nothing goes with baseball quite like Wrigley's. Summers sets, winds up, and delivers a fastball right down the middle for a called strike. 1-1 the count now on Steinfeld. 2 men on and 1 away for the Cubs. Frank Wildfire Schulte at second and Frank Chance at first. Our score 6-5 in favor of the Tigers. Ed Summers has struck out 2 and walked 1 since he entered the game in the third inning. Ed retakes the hill and throws the next one, which comes in high for a ball. 2-1. You could really see the seams on that one. Looked like a slider that just stayed high. Sort of a rainy and blustery day here in Detroit. Field conditions are certainly not what you'd expect for a World Series game. We've seen quite a few slips and slides out there today. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Steinfeld muscles that one into shallow left field, and it's another Chicago single. Both base runners move up, and now the bases are full of Cubs. Schulte at third, Chance at second, and Steinfeld, the runner at first. Tight spot for the Tigers with the World Championship on the line. Let's see what strategy Detroit manager Huey Jennings has up his sleeve. Nobody throwing in a bullpen yet. Looks like they're going to stick with Summers. Bases loaded, 1 out, and the Tigers cling to a 1-run lead here in the top of the 9th inning of the opening game of the 1908 World Series. And now here's center fielder Solly Hoffman. Solly still in search of his first hit today. He's 0 for 3. Summers climbs the hill for the next pitch. He sets, goes into his windup, and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Summers just blew that ball right by him. Hoffman batting .243. He grounded out in the second, walked in the third, reached on a fielder's choice in the fifth, and grounded out again in the seventh. Summers ready to work, and the next pitch is a ball, high. The count moves to 1-1. The Cubs threatening in the top of the ninth. 1 away and the bases are loaded. Chicago trails Detroit by a score of 6-5. The go-ahead run in scoring position. Opening game of the World Series on the line. It just doesn't get any bigger than this for a pitcher. Summers sets himself, starts his windup. 1-1's the count. And that pitch comes in low and outside for a ball. 2-1 now on Hoffman. The pitcher Ed Summers now behind in the count, and with the bases loaded and only 1 out, that's the last place he wants to be. Each and every pitch a potential game changer. The entire season hangs in the balance. Hoffman back in the batter's box and ready to go. Ed retakes the hill, looks in for the sign from his catcher, and settles in for the delivery. Here it comes. And that pitch is in the dirt! Schmidt does a good job of staying in front of the ball. All the base runners stay put. 3-1 now the count on Hoffman. That could have been disastrous for the Tigers. A passed ball could allow the tying run to score. Boss Schmidt takes a quick jog out to the hill to talk to Summers and give him a chance to settle down and catch his breath before the next pitch. Steinfeld at first, Chance at second, Schulte at third, Solly Hoffman the batter, and Joe Tinker the man on deck. Schmidt has settled back in behind the plate and now awaits the next offering from Summers. Here's the pitch. Line drive base hit into center field. Schulte scores easily. Chance rounds third, and he's going to score. Steinfeld will be stopped at third, and Summers surrenders his 4th single in as many batters, and this time Solly Hoffman drives in 2 runs. The Cubs retake the lead. The score now 7-6. Hoffman showed great patience, worked the count, and then when he got his pitch, he made the most of it, sending a line drive to center that scored 2 big postseason runs. Next up, shortstop Joe Tinker. Tinker 1 for 4 so far today. He flied out in the second, reached on a fielder's choice in the third, grounded out in the fifth, and singled in the seventh. Summers starts his windup and throws the next one. Tinker squares up and shows bunt. He lays one down perfectly. Steinfeld takes off from third. Schmidt hops up to field it, but he must have slipped in the mud in front of the plate. He can't make a play. Tinker is safe at first. Steinfeld scores, and Hoffman advances to second. Everybody's safe. And now Chicago leads Detroit 8-6. The Cubs have plated 3 runs this inning and still only 1 out. The next Chicago batter will be catcher Johnny Kling. Johnny batting .276 with 4 home runs and 59 RBI on the season. The Tigers are going to stick with Ed Summers. It looks like it's up to him to get himself out of this jam. Ed climbs up, starts his motion, and delivers a breaking ball, which comes in low and outside for ball 1. This portion of the top of the 9th inning of Game 1 of the 1908 World Series is brought to you by the Ford Motor Company and the brand new Model T automobile, manufactured right here in Detroit, Michigan. Summers delivers the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. It looked like Kling just couldn't catch up to that fastball. Ed Summers facing his 7th batter of the inning and still only 1 out. The Cubs now leading the Tigers 8-6, plating 3 runs so far in the top of the 9th. And they might not be done yet with runners Joe Tinker at first and Solly Hoffman at second. Summers' next pitch to Johnny Kling comes in low for ball 2. 2-1. Kling 0 for 2 today. He did walk in the second and reach on an error in the third, but then flied out to left in the 6th and later laid down a sac bunt in the 8th to move Joe Tinker over to third. Summers winds up and delivers the next one. Hoffman breaks for third, and now Tinker takes off for second. The pitch comes in low, and Bosch Schmidt does his best to get a hold of it, set his feet in the mud, and fire it down to Schaefer at third. The throw not in time. Hoffman safe at third, and Tinker safe at second. It's a double steal. As soon as Summers went into his windup, Solly Hoffman took off for third, and a split second later, Tinker broke for second. Schmidt knew he had no shot at the fleet-footed Tinker and tried to get Hoffman, but Solly got a good jump and will be credited with a postseason stolen base along with Joe Tinker. And that's Tinker's 2nd stolen base of the day. Summers now back on the mound, scuffing the dirt in front of the rubber to get a better footing, as he ponders his next pitch in this, the first of possibly 7 World Series games. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Line drive base hit into center field. Hoffman is in for another run. Tinker rounds third, and he will score. Chalk up 2 more RBIs for Johnny Kling as he ends up at first with yet another Cubby single. The Cubs extend their lead to 4. The score now 10-6 in favor of the Cubs. Cubs look unstoppable right now, and the Tigers are watching this one slip away. And this is definitely not the way Detroit wanted to open up the World Series at their home ballpark. 5 runs in and still only 1 out. And now Ed Summers to face his Chicago counterpart, Mordecai Three-Finger Brown. Ideal situation for a bunt here with a runner at first and 1 out. Summers back on the hill and ready to pitch. Here it comes. Brown initially shows bunt, but pulls the bat back as Summers throws, and the pitch comes in high for ball 1. This is the first at-bat of the game for Three-Finger Brown after he took over pitching duties from Orville Overall in the 8th. Brown batting .207 this season with 4 RBIs on 25 hits and 20 strikeouts. Summers starts his windup and throws the next one. Brown watches it go by for a called strike. The count moves to 1-1. Ed Summers has given up 6 consecutive 1-out singles to Cubs hitters, resulting in 5 9th-inning Chicago runs. The Cubs lead the Tigers 10-6 late in the first game of the 1908 World Series. Summers settles in and delivers to Brown, who's already showing bunt. He lays down a little roller back towards the mound. Summers gets to it, picks it up, and throws it over to first to get Brown. But Brown does his job, and Kling advances to second. 2 down now, and a runner at second for the Cubs here in the top of the 9th. The Tigers really needed that out. Mordecai Brown, the first man not to reach in the last 7 batters. Here comes the 9th batter of the inning, left fielder Jimmy Sheckard. Jimmy 3 for 5 today with a run scored and 2 doubles. Summers starts his windup and delivers the next pitch, which comes in high for ball 1. Sheckard's 2 doubles both came off starter Ed Killian. The first came as the leadoff hitter to open the game, but he didn't score. He did score on a Frank Schulte single after his second double, which came in the third inning. Summers takes to the mound and settles in for the delivery. The pitch. Checkard hits a high fly ball to center field. Crawford moves under it and is there to make the catch to retire the side. But the damage to Detroit is done. The Cubs put up 5 runs on 6 hits with 1 left, and after 8.5, it's the Cubs 10 and the Tigers 6. The Tigers have just 3 more outs to try to mount another big comeback on baseball's biggest stage. Can they do it? We'll have the answer when we return for the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 1 of the 1908 World Series on Gameday Radio. Gameday Radio would like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, ABC Automotive. Visit ABC Automotive for all your car care needs. Welcome back. We move to the bottom of the 9th of Game 1 of the 1908 World Series on Gameday Radio. It's the last chance for the Tigers here at Bennett Park in Detroit. They entered the 9th with a 1-run lead over Chicago, but after Detroit pitcher Ed Summers surrendered 5 runs on 6 hits, the Tigers now trail the defending champion Cubs by a score of 10-6. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown takes the hill to begin his second inning of work for Chicago. The pitcher's spot in the batting order due up for Detroit, and it looks like we will have a substitution. No surprise there. Davy Jones will be pinch hitting for Ed Summers. Brown steps up and is ready to go. Here comes his first pitch. A curveball that just misses for ball 1. The bottom of the 9th inning is brought to you by Coca-Cola, a delightful, palatable, and healthful beverage. Still only 5 cents a bottle. Coca-Cola, the most refreshing soft drink in the world. Brown looks in to Johnny Kling for the sign, winds up, and delivers. That curveball catches the inside corner for a called strike. The count now 1-1 on Jones. Davy, a left-handed batter, making his first plate appearance of the game in a pinch hit situation. He's batting .207 with 25 hits and 10 RBIs this season. The next pitch from Three-Finger is swung on and missed for strike 2. Brown now ahead of the batter, 1-2. The nickname Three-Finger, very appropriate for Mordecai Brown. He lost most of the index finger on his throwing hand in a childhood farming accident. The absence of the finger does not seem to hinder his pitching ability in any way, however. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one line foul to the left side. Look out! The count remains 1-2. Detroit has overcome one 4-run deficit already this afternoon. Can they do it again? They put up 2 in the last frame against Mordecai Brown. Brown getting a nice new ball from umpire Jack Sheridan, and he proceeds to rub the shine off of it. He climbs up and is ready to throw. Here it comes. And Jones watches it go by for a called strike 3. 1 out. That was a beautiful changeup that caught the outside part of the plate. It just froze the batter. And nothing gets a pitcher's blood pumping like hearing the sweet song of a called third strike. We're in the bottom of the 9th of the opening game of the 1908 World Series. The hometown Detroit Tigers trail the Chicago Cubs by a score of 10-6. Chicago just put up 5 of their 10 runs in the top half of the inning. Now batting for Detroit, left fielder Matty McIntyre. McIntyre, the left-hander, 2 for 3 today with a stolen base and a run scored. Brown ready to work, and the first pitch to McIntyre comes in low for a ball. Matty singled to right to lead off for the Tigers and later scored the first Detroit run. In the 6th, he bunted for a single and then reached in the 7th when he was hit by an Orville overall pitch. Three-Finger winds up and throws the 1-0 pitch. McIntyre lets it go for ball 2, 2-0. Matty flied out in the 3rd and committed an error also in the 3rd, one of 2 Tiger errors in that inning in which Chicago put up their first 4 runs. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. Detroit trails Chicago 10-6 in Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. Brown fires a fastball which misses up high for another ball. Mordecai now behind in the count 3-0, the last place a pitcher wants to be, and McIntyre, the Detroit leadoff hitter, has shown great patience and worked himself into a very favorable count. The Tigers need base runners. Let's see if Matty gets the green light from Huey Jennings to take a whack at the 3-0 pitch. Brown winds up and delivers another fastball, this one right down Main Street, and McIntyre lets it go for a called strike. So now 3-1 on Matty. No green light from Jennings on that 3-0 pitch. McIntyre didn't even move a fraction of an inch out of his stance. Brown walks back up the hill, takes a deep breath, and gets himself focused on the next pitch. Three-finger throws the next one to the left-hander McIntyre, and it comes in low and inside. Ball 4. McIntyre gets a free pass and trots on down to first. A runner at first and one out here in the bottom of the ninth, with Detroit trailing Chicago 10-6 in Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. And a substitution. Ira Thomas is going to pinch hit for the shortstop O'Leary. Thomas with a .307 batting average in 40 games played this season. Thomas, a big right-handed hitter. He steps into the batter's box and gets ready. Here comes the first pitch from Brown, which Thomas looks at for a ball. Ira Thomas with 31 hits, 6 runs scored, and 8 RBIs. The pitcher, Mordecai Brown, not in trouble yet. Only one runner on, and fortunately for him, the Cubs have a 4-run cushion. Brown climbs up, toes the rubber. Pitch coming in. Thomas cracks that one into shallow left field, and he'll be aboard with an easy single. Matty McIntyre advances to second and will stop there on the line drive single to left by Ira Thomas. Now Detroit has runners at first and second with one out, and things just got a little more interesting for Mordecai Brown and the Chicago Cubs. And it looks like Huey Jennings is going to send in George Winter to pinch run for Ira Thomas. So it'll be McIntyre at second and Winter the runner at first. And now making his 5th trip to the plate today is center fielder Sam Crawford. Sam hitless today with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. And the next offering from Brown is swung on and missed by Crawford, strike 1. Crawford batting .311 this season with 184 hits, 80 RBIs, and 7 home runs. He's a very dangerous left-handed hitter. Three-finger Brown performs a quick check of the infield, looks in for the sign from Johnny Kling, and sets. Here's the pitch. Crawford swings hard and fouls that one straight back out of play. Crawford quickly in the hole 0-2. Sam struck out in the first, lined out to Johnny Evers in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th, and walked and scored a run in the 8th. Brown is ready to throw. He'd really like to get Crawford to strike out after getting ahead in the count 0-2. The pitch. High fly ball to deep center field. Solly Hoffman drifting back. He's under it and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Tagging up and advancing to third is McIntyre. He'll do so without a throw. And now Detroit is down to their final out. 2 men on, and they trail Chicago by 4 runs in the opening game of the 1908 World Series. And now here comes Tiger shortstop Ty Cobb, who is 2 for 3 today with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Ty scored the go-ahead run on a Johnny Evers error in the top of the 8th, but can he help Detroit overcome the 4-run deficit they face here in the 9th? Brown back on the hill. He's ready to pitch. Here it comes. Cobb, batting left-handed, lets that one go for a ball. 1-0. Ty singled to right in the 1st, grounded out in the 4th, singled and scored in the 7th, and reached on an error and later scored in the 8th. He's the only Tiger to cross the plate more than once today. Brown's next pitch comes in low for a ball. The count moves to 2-0. It's crunch time for the Tigers, bottom of the 9th, 2 on, 2 out, and they trail Chicago 10-6 on a rainy and blustery Saturday afternoon at Bennett Park in Detroit. Mordecai Brown ready to go. The delivery. Cobb swings and hits a sharp grounder right back to the mound. Brown fields it cleanly and tosses over to Frank Chance at first to get Cobb, retire the side, and win Game 1 of the 1908 World Series. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown gets the win for the visiting Chicago Cubs, while Ed Summers takes the loss for Detroit. For the Cubs, it's 10 runs on 14 hits with 2 errors and 9 left. The Tigers scored 6 runs on 10 hits with 3 errors and 7 men left on base. We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the General Motors Corporation, the Ford Motor Company, and the Coca-Cola Company for helping us bring you today's game on Gameday Radio. Once again, your final score, the Chicago Cubs 10 and the Detroit Tigers 6. You've been listening to the Chicago Cubs at the Detroit Tigers in the opening game of the 1908 World Series. Thanks for tuning in to Gameday Radio.